how can I get a little shot of validation? I'll text every girl from high school.
If retrograde is making you want to text your ex, or your ex has texted you and you are actually considering re-establishing some sort of conversation with them, please go watch Mel's entire video. She does it again. She gives us an entire thesis statement on why you should not allow these dudes back into your life. Because as we've heard this sentiment going around and around TikTok, they don't actually want you back. They literally just want to see if you are still a source of supply for them, or if you can, as Mel says in this snippet, give them a little dopamine hit of validation. That's literally all they want from you, which is why you feel like absolute garbage every single time that you relent and allow them to come back and reconfigure speaking with them again. You know that, oh, you're just the same person with the same toxic shit. Nothing's changed. And I feel like crap after we talk. Why did I ever entertain speaking with you again? Can I share a little story tidbit? So before my last 12-month very toxic relationship with a narcissist, I had a short little fling with a guy who had a habit of calling me when I was out with my girlfriends. And if I was a little tipsy, he would offer to come and pick me up. But then once he would get to said party to pick me up, he would have a ginormous, monstrous narcissist tantrum and tell me that he didn't like what was happening around him because seeing the sight of women drinking and being loose and loud was triggering to him. And so he would bolt and leave me there. He did this 4 or 5 times, and it would leave me in absolute abandonment trigger, crying, wondering what I had done. And then when I would reach out to him later and ask him, what was that all about? Why did you just come to show up to leave me? He would then tell me that I should be ashamed of myself for my behavior and my drunken antics. Many times I was merely tipsy. So what I'm gathering now later is that he had a kink of abandonment. He had an abandonment kink. He felt power and control when leaving a woman, when coming and acting as if he was going to save the day or was going to come and be chivalrous by leaving her and then causing some emotional reaction in her that was usually sorrow and panic and abandonment. He got off on that. Well, I didn't realize that until I got out of my 12-month relationship of the same antics of him trying to pull maneuvers that would dysregulate me and traumatize me and incite an emotional response. He got off on that, and I could then see the pattern. So after getting out of this 12-month relationship and going into hermit single woman mode era, I started hearing back from this first ex, and I was just starting to put the pieces together that both of these men were the same and that I clearly had a type, aka pattern, in the type of men that I was attracting. And so as I was kind of putting these pieces together but hadn't fully developed a consensus of what was happening, I agreed to meet this first ex for drinks. One night I meet him at a bar and we're just going to go catch up because for the entirety of my relationship for 12 months, this old ex, the guy that would leave me alone with my girlfriends after coming to pick me up and then walking out on me, he would call me and like try to touch base and say things like, you know, I just really didn't appreciate the type of girl that you were. I just really wasn't in a place to be in a relationship with you, but now I've grown so much. So I was a little curious, like, did this man actually grow since, you know, not speaking to him over the last 12 months that I was in this relationship? Like, I was curious. So I went out with him and we were sitting at the bar and he excused himself to go take a phone call. And I saw him kind of pacing back and forth. And he comes back over and he looks at me and he says, that was my son and it was an emergency and I'm going to have to cut this dinner short. Well, my female intuition just knew that that was another woman on the phone, probably a girlfriend or a significant other that was demanding that he come and meet her. And so he was cutting our reconciliation, or I should say our catch-up drink date short so that he could actually go be with that other woman. And I realized, oh, I'm just another source of supply for you. Like, I was a source of supply for you during the relationship, and now you're dating somebody, you're in a relationship, and now you're still considering me a source of supply, just some side chick. So I was more than happy to oblige and let him leave and go do his thing. I will not speak to him now. He still slides into my DMs. He still tries to text me to get emotional validation because that is all it is for him. And these guys will say and do anything for that little hit of dopamine. He will say to me, leading up to our, cocktail date, I've changed a lot. I've done a lot of self-work. I wasn't ready for you. That was not true. That was just what he was telling me to literally get a smidgen of validation out of me. And that's what these men will do. You are not important to them. They have not changed. They don't want to try to figure out your relationship or try to do things right. They are literally that sad that they get off on a tiny smidgen of attention from you, and they will say whatever they have to do and go to great lengths to get it. So allow the planets to retrograde and do not reach out to your ex.